The case market is about to peak. We're looking at record high prices all across the board. We're talking about our discontinued cases. Our Riptide, our Broken Fang, our Shattered Web are up massive amounts, and it's absolutely insane considering they are discontinued cases. We may expect something like this, but it's not just them. Talking about something like the glove case, it's up a crazy amount as well. Today we're going to be breaking down everything about these because these cases are going absolutely insane. Now before we get to that, obviously it's not just the case market that's been going insane. If we want to look at the high tier items, we've mentioned a couple times over the past month, but we are looking at 100% increases over 60 days, maybe 20 to 50% in the past 30. A lot of people were putting this on Chinese manipulation, but these prices are still consistently going up, which is absolutely insane when we look at the 1 month of a lot of these items. They are extremely profitable. I mean, obviously we don't know if they're going to drop back down. It's very likely that when we see profit like this, there is usually some sort of drop down afterwards, but it is a massive amount of profit, and no one can deny that it's probably not going to drop down 50 or 60% at this point. This is a crazy price point that we're seeing all across the board, and it seems like cases have finally now been hit by this hype, and we're really excited to see it, especially for the amount we've got. SkinSwap is today's sponsor, and they're also sponsoring you with their exclusive new reward system with a reward of up to $50 today when you're using code MASTER. They have mastered the skins game, offering one of the largest selections of skins if you're looking to trade out your old ones, one of the best rates in the market if you're trying to sell off instantly, and it's completely safe. And they've got their own buying page, which is offering a massive 40% discount on every single skin they have. So what are you waiting for? Claim your exclusive up to $50 rewards by using code MASTER on SkinSwap. Now looking at an explosion like this, there's one area that's been affected the most. That's going to be your older, more expensive rare cases. We'll talk about the cheaper rare cases in just a second, but talking about your chromas and gammas and later, we can see an absolutely crazy explosion in price. Now we talked about the glove previously, but it is actually not even the most profitable over the past month for some of these cases. Look at something like the Spectrum 2 case, going from around $3.50 consistently, shooting up to $5, and now it's staying at that price point. Chroma 3, very similar story. Look at that trajectory. These things are going absolutely insane. We've even got some cases like your Evolver, your Wildfire that haven't been picked up just yet, starting to show early signs of an increasing trajectory. Someone is buying up a ton of these older rare cases, and because the supply is really not able to sustain it, we can definitely see the price points going absolutely crazy. It's a very good and profitable situation if you've already got these case investments, because obviously they are shooting up in price, and honestly it is very possible that we will not see too much of a downturn because of this, because of the way these cases are situated. I think a lot of this profit's actually going to be sticking around. Now talking about our cheaper rare cases, we need to back up about 6 months because we can see that we had a very large stagnant period, then we shot up in price, and then we lost about 20-ish% on average for some of these cases. Now we can see that we've almost already returned back to the price point we were sitting at earlier. This is absolutely crazy. The cheaper rare cases have had a lot more growth over the past 6 months compared to some of those older, more expensive cases, which is why we saw a little bit of a downturn, and it's now why we're seeing such a strong already outlook. It's absolutely insane to compare that just less than a month ago these things were crashing. Now they're already coming back in price. It's a very strong outlook for a lot of these cases. Talking about your Prismas, your Danger Zones, any of these cases that were sitting around that dollar price point. Even looking at something like your Clutch case, it's already starting to approach $1, which if you know the Clutch case is a crazy high price point. This thing has not seen that price in a while, and I'm very excited with, if you want to look at the growth of this thing, it's up significantly over the past month. Things are starting to heat up so much when we're talking about the cheaper rare case market, which is absolutely insane if I haven't made it clear already, because things just heated up less than 2 months ago, and that's why everything for the case market is starting to get absolutely absurd. Now I've been tracking the case market very consistently over the past 5 years, and I'm ready to make a strong claim, being that these cases are not going to be crashing down in price. Now if you want to talk about something like the Spectrum 2 case, the case that shot up nearly 50% overnight, it's going to crash down in price maybe 10 or 20%. It's not going to lose all that 50% it just gained, and that's the big thing here. These cases are not going to be losing almost any of their growth in my personal opinion. They may lose a little bit, but not much, and that's because of one specific way that these cases are situated, being that they are nearly impossible to go down because the supply is so thin coming in. Look at something like this. This is the Chroma 3 graph right here. The blue line on the bottom are how many cases are coming in every single day. The red line is how many are being unboxed. We're talking about 30 to 50 times more cases being unboxed for every one that's coming in. It's absolutely insane, and every single rare case is like this. This is why this situation is so profitable for whoever bought up a ton of those cases. Whoever's got cases right now, you're in a perfect position because these cases are nearly impossible to go down as long as the game just keeps on kicking, and it's been kicking for the past 12, 13 years. Things are getting crazy here, especially when we're talking about the case market. I'm really excited. Now talking a little bit more about the supply that's remaining for all of these cases, if we want to focus in on the rare drop pool, which makes up 1% of the total drops, that's where all of these cases potentially come in. That's what makes up this little blue bar at the bottom is 1%, all of these cases barely making that up. It's crazy how low the supply is for a lot of these cases, and that creates a huge opportunity like we're seeing right now. Now, I want to make it very clear, the amount of the market is not supply, even though the glove case says it's only got a couple thousand listed, and that's why we're seeing this very strong squeeze in price. There's a lot more glove cases out there. Personally, I've got a ton. I know a lot of people that have a ton as well. So I want to make it very clear, the amount on the market is not supply. However, it is people that are willing to sell at this current market. Just because I have a ton of glove cases right now doesn't mean I want to sell. Same with every other case I've got in my inventory. I've got 10,000 of them. I'm not trying to sell at this current price point because I think they can go higher, and that's why a lot of the supply, even though it is very large, is actually not too available for purchase. Now, whenever we see some sort of case explosion, people always flock to the active duty, talking about those and asking if they should be investing into them. And right now, I think it's a very opportune time to avoid the active duty at all costs. In my personal opinion, the active duty is just a ploy to get you to throw your money into a case investment that's not potentially going to go anywhere. If you want to look over it over the past year, there's a lot of fluctuations in this area, but it's really hard to time the market. It's very possible it can always go lower for the active duty, and the supply coming in usually outpaces the demand, which is the number one key thing, is why rare cases are succeeding. You're taking away the number one factor and just looking at a case. I definitely think if you want to make an investment into it, to be very careful. Now, talking about how to profit off of this opportunity, first up, I would definitely say getting into the rare case market for some of these cases that have not exploded just yet, specifically these cheaper rare cases, is a huge opportunity. These are investments. They're not that risky. Obviously, there is some risk. It's not guaranteed profit by any means, but if you want to look at the fundamentals, the unboxing numbers, everything showing these cases are on a very strong trajectory. There's no reason why they probably wouldn't continue on the trajectory just because you invest in. However, there is a second opportunity that's a lot more profitable if you're trying to get some Steam community market funds. If you've got some case investments right now, what you can do is sell off these case investments that have exploded on Steam and buy them on a third-party site where the prices haven't adjusted just yet. There's a huge opportunity in buying cases on third-party sites when the prices have already exploded on Steam, because these prices haven't been adjusted. You can make a ton of profit this way, and that's a huge opportunity. Now, what's the future of this case market? I think it's going to be very strong. Honestly, I don't see any reason when we look at the player count, we look at the unboxing numbers, why any of these prices are going to be decreasing drastically, and especially in the long term. Look at the 1 year of all of these graphs. They are up significantly. Obviously, time in the market and timing the market, you've heard the long saying, but with the CS market, there definitely is some time in the market, but you need to be in there for the long haul as well if you want to make some crazy profit, and that's exactly what I think we're going to be seeing. And finally, get into the age-old question, should you be buying now? In my honest opinion, I think it's almost always a great time to get into the rare case market, depending on where you're at. The cheaper rare cases, I would highly suggest for people that are on a budget, or if you want to grab a lot of these, they're going to be a little bit more risky than something like your older rare cases, but the profit is definitely there, and I think it's a huge opportunity. That's all I got on this watching. Have a great rest of your day.